It's alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy on a Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about one of, if not the biggest patch notes that we have ever received for Borderlands 3. Now this patch notes changes so much. Today we're going to be covering everything you guys need to know. If you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, the first change in this big patch is the addition of a legendary firing mode for the Fabricator. The Fabricator now has an alternate firing mode called Legendary that spawns between 1 to 3 legendary weapons for 250 Iridium. You will switch into this alternate firing mode like any other weapon and will see purple effects when firing the Fabricator. This is awesome because it not only adds another use for the Fabricator, but also adds a use for our Iridium. Next up, mission rewards available in Veteran Rewards vending machine. Players can now purchase previously rewarded mission rewards in the Veteran Rewards machine just outside of Crazy Earl's door on Sanctuary 3. As missions are completed, their rewards are added to the pool and can be purchased using Iridium. So just like the Earl's vending machine where you had a bunch of random weapons in it that had anointments, I believe that this will work the same way, where missions that you complete, when you complete the mission, that mission reward weapon will be added to the vendor and you will be able to pick up that weapon with a random anoint, with whatever, using your Iridium. This is amazing. I cannot stress how amazing this is. There's so many really cool weapons that have been locked behind mission rewards, like the Cloud Kill, like the Becca, that people love but haven't really been able to use that well. This is going to open up a lot more possibilities for our weapon choices. Next up, legendary gear available in vending machines. We have rebalanced vending machines based on the community feedback. Vending machines of all types have a small chance of providing legendary gear for purchase. Also removed uncommon green rarity gear from the item of the day. I remember there was a time where the vendors all had legendaries and it was crazy and it was exciting. Now we're getting a little bit of that back, which is awesome. Next up, chest and badass reward adjustments. The quality of rewards found in chests and dropped from badass enemies have been slightly buffed. Our goal is to make sure chests feel rewarding and exciting, and players feel properly rewarded for defeating difficult enemies. This is an awesome change. As you guys know, a lot of the times it didn't feel worth it to go open up a red chest after killing a boss such as Trant because there wasn't anything worth in it. Now, going for those chests hopefully is going to feel rewarding, and you guys are going to be getting more of that loot that you deserve after a good boss kill. Now this is big. Dedicated loot pool adjustments. The dedicated loot pool for bosses have been given a dramatic overhaul in hopes of making for a more reliable and satisfying farming experience. Most bosses have 2 pieces of gear assigned to them. Though there are exceptions, to reach this goal, we have enabled respawning on the following bosses and reshuffle gear between bosses more evenly. Now, the enemies that are spawning, I'm not going to read them all out, but the new enemies that are going to be respawnable should be showing on your screen, which is a ton of new enemies. Hopefully, this will spread out the loot pool, allowing for you guys to more accurately farm for the dedicated drop that you want. And also, we're going to have so many new things to figure out what their drops are, so this is really exciting. But it's even more exciting when you see this next change. We are getting an adjustment to the anointment pool. To further improve the farming experience, we examined the anointment pool and determined some weren't engaging the community as we hoped. Given the depth of the pool, we have removed the following 21 anointments. 21 anointments are being removed from the anointment pool, which is amazing. I've been asking for this for so long. Any gear that currently has these anointments will continue to function properly. So if you had gear with this anointment, you can keep it. But any gear dropped after this update will no longer roll with these anointments. Now, there are a ton of anointments. I'm going to be showing them on screen right now. Not going to read them all out. But the general consensus is the airborne anointments and the sliding anointments have been taken out. Things like Cyber Spike have been taken out. Things that reduce damage. Things that give you 11% reload speed and fire rate. The shield movement speed. Exiting Iron Bear does not consume ammo for 5 seconds. A lot of the things that no one was really using has been removed. This is really smart. I don't see anything that I wish stayed. Seems like they made really great choices here. and we are going to be able to farm for that weapon with that anointment that you want a lot more easily, which is incredible because there's nothing more frustrating than farming for something hundreds and hundreds of times and never getting the anointment that you want. Note, a few bosses have had some minor tweaks made to improve their looting experience, but we've left most of the drops unchanged. With the thinning of the dedicated loot pools and the removal of 21 anointments, we've decided to observe these changes first, then make changes as needed in the future. Next up, stability. Stability. Addressed a reported crash that could occur in split screen. That's great. And here's the kicker. Reduce the number of projectiles that spawn due to damage dealt when using multiple elements on enemies, and limited the number of times projectiles bounce to 4. We've adjusted how projectiles from damage events spawn. We found spikes in stability and performance concerns when too many elemental projectiles were spawning during gameplay. This was due to some weapons spawning many more projectiles than the game performance recommended. The recursion, the carrier, the bearcat, the lead sprinkler, and others will see the effects from this change. We'll be monitoring how players use these weapons for any possible adjustments in the future. All jokes aside, I think this is honestly a good fix. We'll see how the recursion performs tomorrow, but it won't be ricocheting as possible. This is a nerf to the recursion. This is a nerf to weapons that were spawning multiple projectiles. We'll see if Ricochet Witch still holds up. Honestly, we saw this coming. It's been a long time coming. So many people tell me how often they crash their game with the recursion, so I'm glad they made this change. Hopefully, the weapon is still usable, but we will see. So, good change there, and hopefully we'll have a lot less crashing due to the recursion. And the worst thing was when you were playing with multiplayer and someone else was using the recursion, and they were crashing your game by using the recursion. So, genuinely, that's a great change for the game. It needed to be done. Next up, just some general changes. Nothing too crazy here. If there's anything that's super important, I'll point it out on the screen. But general changes, nothing too important. Now, we get to our Mayhem mode. These are some awesome things. Mayhem mode. Addressed a reported concern where the splat attack from the Beastmaster's pet Scorcher was unintentionally receiving Mayhem damage scaling multiple times. If you guys used Flex Spider Ant Scorcher, its fire pool would do way more damage than everything else, so that is no longer going to happen, but they are increasing the pet damage scaling in Mayhem across the board. After making changes to the Scorcher split, we wanted to make sure it and other pets still felt fun and capable of competitive amounts of damage in Mayhem, so we buffed pet damage accordingly. So all pet damage is going to be buffed now. Addressed a bug where the operator's digiclone was interacting with certain weapons like the OPQ in a way that received Mayhem damage scaling multiple times. If you guys did not know, the OPQ was getting absolutely ridiculous scaling, multiple Mayhem scalings with the OPQ, allowing the OPQ to be the best option for Zane's clone. Good change here. It was cool that the OPQ worked this way, but as a not available gun and for being under leveled to be doing more damage than anything else just didn't make sense, so good change there. Addressed a bug where the gunner's Iron Bear in certain class mods like the Minesweeper could interact in a way that received Mayhem damage scaling multiple times. If you did not know, if you procced Minesweeper with Iron Bear, if you were in Iron Bear and had the Minesweeper comp on and you used Iron Bear to proc Minesweeper, it received multiple double dips of damage and multiple action skill scaling, resulting in absolutely crazy damage. You could one-shot Graveward with the debuff missiles on Iron Bear, so that's crazy. Good change there. Next up, we identified a behavior in our damage pipeline that created opportunities for certain gear and skill combinations to do excessive amounts of damage. We determined these combinations were not aligned with the rest of the game and made a solution that better fits our intended balance goals. Oh boy. Address some concerns that the gunner and operative were experiencing unintentional levels of damage increase with a variety of class mods in Mayhem mode. We'll see exactly what that means. I'm assuming this has something to do with fire in the Skag Den and short fuse possibly. Address a reported concern where the Anointment, while an action skill is active, constantly triggered novas that deal X damage, was incorrectly scaling when players received Mayhem modifiers scaling skill damage. Nova damage, as you guys have seen from some of the Nova builds that have come out, have been pretty crazy. Now, this is a big one. The Siren's Ties that bind skill and now scales properly with action skill damage. That means that we can now go back to speccing into do harm, which is great. It didn't make sense that we were receiving full damage without ever speccing into action skill damage. So go do harm now on your Ties that bind Amara builds. Great change there. Addressed a reported concern that the Cosmic Krieger Legendary Artifact did not scale elemental puddle damage. I personally don't really care about that. Didn't use it. Next up, character changes. Players can no longer emote cancel to exploit anarchy stacks. Oof, okay, they got me. Sorry about that one. Okay, so no more anarchy stacking with emote canceling. Good change, honestly. The anarchy is crazy strong when full stacked, and being able to emote cancel to full stack it in a second is crazy. Dress reported concern reflects head count passive did not function. Round of applause. Head count was not working very well with Rack Attack, if at all, and now head count should be working with Rack Attack, which is huge for Rack Attack builds. For a while, fell to the wayside. Now Rack Attack builds should be back. Addressed a reported concern where the vibration effect from Fox Burst State Augment persists after the action skill ends. Didn't know that much about that. The next big thing that we need to talk about is hotfixes. So these are separate from the patch, but are also being rolled out today. Gunner's Anarchy stacks are no longer lost when entering Iron Bear. That is awesome. Addressed a bug that was causing the Siren's Radiation Elemental Anoint to do less than indicated in the description. Snaps. The 130 rad Siren Anoint, if you didn't know, was not doing 130% rad damage. I believe it was doing 40%. It was still doing 40%. So now the Radiation Elemental Anoint, I never used it in any builds because 40% radiation is pretty much nothing. That 130 rad Anoint, if you guys held on to any weapons with it, is now going to be super, super strong and possibly making its way into some really cool builds. Change the listed damage increase on the Siren's personal space to reflect what is happening in game. That is really cool. I'm curious to how this will show. Personal space was giving 18%, and its damage by distance was a little weird. So super awesome change there. This is one of the biggest ones. Addressed a reported concern that the Beastmaster's Rage and Recover skill was not increasing the healing rate of pets. Never mind. That's a little bit less. We're not increasing the healing rate of pets. Okay, never mind. That's good, but not exactly what I thought it was going to be. Justice Siren's Tires that bind skill to reflect the damage being dealt in game. That's good. Gives players more information about their choices. The rest, we have a lot of glamour skill fixes, of glamour skill interactions, and that's about it for the patch notes. In summary, changes to the anointment pool, changes to drop rates, changes to spreading out the drop pool. We got nerfs to any sort of ricochet build, especially using the recursion, changes to anarchy stacking. We got changes to skills such as head count, which is amazing. So many really, really cool things, especially the new Veterans Reward Machine and a way to use more of our Iridium. I am so excited about all these changes. I hope you guys are too. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!